Mic check, 1, 2, 3. And good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park on this Friday, June 19th, 2026. We're continuing with our two-year-old qualifiers for this season, and it is a busy weekend here at the Hawk. Here today, we have 14 races for two-year-old fillies. Coming up tomorrow, another 13 qualifying races. Tomorrow will be the boys taking the spotlight. But once again, 14 qualifiers here today, all for two-year-old fillies. Horses for the first stepping out onto the track. It's a beautiful morning here in Campbellville. Right now, the temperature sitting in the high teens, almost up to 20 degrees Celsius. The track is fast, and there's a bit of a breeze coming out of the west. So, at least to start the day, they'll be dealing with that when they swing into the home stretch. Once again, horses on the track for the first qualifier. We'll be getting underway in just a moment. Changes for the first qualifier. Driver change on the 1, the New Deal, to Damian McClellan. Number 3, Miss Bulldog, and number 8, Caston Stone are both scratched. So take out the 3 and the 8 here in the first, and one driver note, Damian McClellan, drives the 1, the New Deal. As the starting gate moves into position, we're down to a field of 6 2-year-old pacing fillies here in the first, and they will line up, kicked off by number 1, the New Deal, a courtly choice filly. Was a Harrisburg graduate at $40,000 US. Kyle Fellows trains. The driver is Damian McClellan. Number 2 is Lion's Flurry. This is a daughter of Better's Delight, a Lexington selected yearling sale purchase for $35,000 US. Tony Beaton trains, and Louis Waugh does the driving. The 3 is scratched. Number 4 is Control Your Lady. She's a daughter of Control the Moment. Meg Crone trains. Anthony Hahn drives. They're also the breeders. Number 5, Rockin' Jade Deo, is a Captain Treacherous filly for trainer Luke Blay. Bob McClure is between the wheels. Rockin' Jade Deo, a Lexington selected yearling sale purchase, $240,000 US for the daughter of Captain Treacherous. 6 is Lady Roz. This is a daughter of Big Jim. Susie Kerwood trains. James McDonald drives, a homebred for M&L of Delaware. And number 7 is Cupcakes on Tuesday, a cattle wash filly. Greg McNair, the trainer. Doug McNair is in the bike. And this cattle wash filly, a Lexington selected yearling sale buy for $25,000 US. Once again, number 8 is scratched. So the 3 and the 8 are out here in the first of 14 from Woodbine Mohawk Park as our 2-year-old baby race season continues. Starting gate to the top of the stretch, 2-year-old Pacing Fillies here in the first to 14 from Woodbine Mohawk Park. 20 degrees Celsius, the track is fast, and we are set. Here we go for the first. And they're off and pacing. Looking to the outside, we're going to see Cupcakes on Tuesday start to go forward. Coming away well down the center is going to be Lady Roz into second. There to the inside is Lions Flurry getting away in third as Rockin' Jade Deo takes her time. Moving up on the outside, she'll land in fourth. She's going to get one spot in front of Control Your Lady, and the New Deal will round things out in sixth. To the opening quarter they go. Cupcakes on Tuesday does lead it. That opening quarter time, 30 seconds even. So Cupcakes on Tuesday is out in front. Second qualifier for this daughter of Cattle Wash. McNair has her point them up the backstretch, leading it by 2 as she lets it out a notch. In second is Lady Ross, also a second timer, tracked up the backside by Lions Flurry. Second time we've seen that one. Then we go to Rockin' Jade Dale. This is going to be her third crack in the baby races. A couple more lengths back. Then to Control Your Lady, second time out. And the trailer is the lone debuter here in this group, the New Deal. 58-1. So we said McNair got this one to roll a bit in the second quarter. A little bit of a breeze at their tails up the backside. 28-1 second split into the far turn. Cupcakes on Tuesday here on this Friday morning, leading it by 2. Second is Lady Roz. Pacing well in third is Lions Flurry. There's Rockin' Jade Dale looking to pick it up from in fourth. Followed fifth by Control Your Lady. And the last one is the New Deal. Coming to three quarters, it's still a 2-length lead here for Cupcakes on Tuesday. Sat third in her debut qualifier. Here she is out in front. 126-3 for three quarters. So it was a middle half in 56-3 into the lane here for Cupcakes on Tuesday. Lady Roz in behind second. Lions Flurry is there in third. Then back to Rockin' Jade Deo, Control Your Lady, and the New Deal. Cupcakes on Tuesday with the 16th to go. Here rushing up is Lions Flurry as this one looks to sweep by. Up the rail late will be Lady Roz, and it will be Lions Flurry pushing on up late to take it by a little more than a length. Cupcakes on Tuesday was second. Third was Lady Roz. Then to Control Your Lady in fourth. Mile time, good clip to kick things off. 1:55-1. We'll move over to the trot here in the second qualifiers. The fillies come onto the track, and there is one scratch. Take out number 9, Cost Me a Toe. That'll move us to a field of 8 for the second. We do have all 8 out on the track, so the starting gate will be moving into position for this qualifier in just a moment. Horses to line up for cue number 2, 2-year-old trotting fillies. Number 1 is Holding Pattern. This is a daughter of Tactical Landing, and she is a homebred for the stable.ca. Trainer is Dominic Ladew. James McDonald drives. Number 2, Northern Song, a daughter of King of the North. Mark Etzel trains and drives. A Harrisburg buy for $50,000 US. 3, Udon, a Captain Corey filly. Gino Toscani, the owner, trainer, driver. Udon came out of the Lexington selected yearling sale for $31,000 US. Number 4 is Twinbee Smoke Show, daughter of Muscle Mass, trained by Pam Young. Mark McDonald drives. This was an $85,000 buy from the London Classic. 5, Twinbee Kingsley, daughter of King of the North, for trainer Scott McEnany, driver Trevor Henry. King of the North filly, also a London Classic grad at $55,000. 6 is It's So Easy Being Green, Green Manalishi filly. Gerald Lilly trains. The driver is Bob McClure. $32,000 buy from the London Classic. 7 is Sassy Siren. She's a daughter of Alarm Detector, trained by Brenda Duncan. Driver is Tyler Jones. And number 8 is Georgia Bluffs, a King of the North filly. Kyle Fellows trains. Doug McNair drives. And Georgia Bluffs was brought out of the the Lexington selected yearling sale for $42,000 US. Number 9 is scratched. It's a field of 8 for qualifier number 2. We've got a few debuters here. The 1, Holding Pattern, the 2, Northern Song, and number 4, Twinbee Smoke Show, all making their qualifying debut. The other 5 returnees all going for a second time, except for number 3, Udon. This will be the third crack. Gate moves into the stretch for qualifier number 2, 2-year-old trotting fillies. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. Udon strikes out to an early advantage from post 3, but there's your outside speed from Sassy Siren. Right behind, It's So Easy Being Green kind of follows that path and will actually shoot around. Coming between rivals was going to be Twinbee Kingsley. A breaker down at the inside is Holding Pattern. Marching ahead will be Twinbee Smoke Show, a front of Northern Song. Then going back to Georgia Bluffs, who had an outside starting spot, and resetting. It was an early break, but back on stride, Holding Pattern. Out in front, It's So Easy Being Green. Opening panel 30 and 3. So Bob McClure and It's So Easy Being Green are out in front here, and they lead this one by nearly 3 as we move into the backstretch. So they're a little gapped out, are the trotting fillies. Racing along in second is Sassy Siren, and then we are going to work our way back to Udon in third. Another 4 lengths or so back to Twinbee Kingsley in fourth. That one being followed up the backside fifth by Twinbee Smoke Show. Another gap back to Northern Song. Few more lengths then to Georgia Bluffs, who is being tracked by Holding Pattern. So it's about 20 lengths from front to back at the half in a minute even. Second quarter was trotted in 29 and 2. It's So Easy Being Green. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi. A 2-length advantage into the far turn. Sassy Siren, the Alarm Detector filly, is there in second. Back to the Captain Corey filly, Udon in third. Here's our first mover, Muscle Mass filly, Twinbee Smoke Show is advancing on the outside now up into fourth. Inside of her, the King of the North filly, Twinbee Kingsley. Then it's back to Northern Song, followed by Georgia Bluffs and Holding Pattern. It's So Easy Being Green at 3/4 in 1 31-1. So they start to tighten up there as they went a 31-1 third quarter. And now we'll see if It's So Easy Being Green can switch it back on here and try and kick clear. Up on the outside, that is Twin B Smoke Show, who is grinded away into second. Fanning out wide, it's going to be Twin B Kingsley. Pocket ride here for Sassy Siren, who stays in behind. 3 across 16th to go. It's So Easy Being Green. On the far outside, Twin B Kingsley now takes the lead. It's Twin B Kingsley marching on by for Henry to win it. It's So Easy Being Green will hold second. Third one was Twin B Smoke Show, and fourth was Sassy Siren in 2:01 and 2. A second consecutive qualifying score for the 5 Twin B Kingsley, daughter of King of the North, out of the Dewey Cheatham and Howe mare of Fair Hall. Scott McEnany, the trainer. Trevor Henry in the bike. $55,000 London Classic purchase. Last week, 2:04 and 1. Going to drop nearly 3 seconds off that. 2:01 and 2 victory for the 5 Twin B Kingsley. Starting gate is rolling for the third qualifier. One driver change here. 5 waiting on Summer. Tyler Borth will be at the controls. Field of 8, as listed, that's how they go forward. Jersey Bulldog is the one. Bob McClure for John Pentland. Bulldog Hanover Filly was a $40,000 U.S. buy out of Harrisburg. Number 2 is Twin Bee Copacabana, a cattle wash filly for trainer Tony Beaton. Mark McDonald in the bike. London Classic purchase for $90,000. 3, Waves of Fortune, a Better Light filly, also for the Beaton barn. James McDonald will steer, and this was a Harrisburg purchase for $17,000 U.S. 4, Another Rainy Night, daughter of Better Than Cheddar, trained by Gabby Sasso. J.R. Plant is in the bike, homebred for Joe Tonelli. 5 is Waiting on Summer, Better's Wish filly, a homebred for Larry Denley. Trainer Blake McIntosh, make the driver Tyler Borth. 6 is Baby Jane, a cattle wash filly, trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair will steer, and Baby Jane came out of Lexington Select Sale for $25,000 U.S. 7, Lions Bentley, a cattle wash filly, trained by Kenneth Oliver. Scott Coulter in the bike, $37,000 buy from the London Classic. And the last one to meet is number 8, Ain't She a Pistol, a cattle wash filly for trainer Jeff Williams. Louis Waugh will drive, $38,000 yearling buy from the London Classic. Field of 8 for qualifier number 3, 2-year-old pacing fillies. Couple of first-timers in here in the 4, Another Rainy Night, and the 7, Lions Bentley. Gate picks up speed, and here they come for the third. And they're off and pacing. Even beginning really here, where we're looking towards the center of the track, Waiting on Summer, taking her time. Waves of Fortune edges in front of her stablemate, Twin Bee Copacabana, a break in the early going for Another Rainy Night. Resetting into the first turn, Waiting on Summer, just working her way up to the lead. She will get around Waves of Fortune second. From the outside, Ain't She a Pistol calmly moves her way into the forward mix, and she'll land into a 3-hole in front of Twin Bee Copacabana in fourth. Back to Jersey Bulldog fifth. A few lengths then back to Baby Jane, who's going to be followed by Lions Bentley. And now back pacing, but well behind, is Another Rainy Night. 31 seconds was the opening quarter, and we'll see if the trend continues here in these second quarters. With the wind at their back, they're pacing well here, and they start to spread out a little bit as we get a lead change. Waves of Fortune loops to the lead. Waiting on Summer relegated to second. Closing the gap in third is Ain't She a Pistol. Whip over the tail, Twin Bee Copacabana there in fourth. Back to Jersey Bulldog fifth. Followed into the far turn by Baby Jane. Bit of a gap then back to Lions Bentley. And again, once the trailer is Another Rainy Night. 59-4 was the half-mile time. Looking good on the lead here. Waves of Fortune. She kicked home in 26-4 off the pace in her debut qualifier. She's on the lead, coming to three quarters. Waiting on Summer in second. Still there third, Ain't She a Pistol. Three-quarter time was 1:28 flat. So that was 28-1 in the third quarter. And it's Waves of Fortune swinging us for home. Waiting on Summer in second. Ain't She a Pistol is third. Behind that one, Twin Bee Copacabana in fourth. Jersey Bulldog is fifth. Then back to Baby Jane. Final eighth of the mile. And Waves of Fortune. She's looking good here. Waves of Fortune stretching out the lead late as she's pacing well right to the wire. It's going to be Waves of Fortune. A good-looking score. Finishing second, Waiting on Summer. Shooting on through, Twin Bee Copacabana was third, and fourth was Ain't She a Pistol. Mile time, 1:56 flat, as it goes to Waves of Fortune in the third. So Waves of Fortune takes our third qualifier, a Better's Delight filly out of the Some Beach Somewhere mare Cozy Beach, a $17,000 U.S. buy from the Harrisburg sale, trained by Tony Beaton. James McDonald in the bike. That first dam, three-time winner, already the dam of 4 winners, and it is the Better's Delight filly, Waves of Fortune, who stormed home last week from the back, here today out in front to win in 1:56. Starting gates moving into position for our fourth qualifier. Field of 9, 2-year-old trotting fillies. The lone change is a driver change on the outside starter. 9 Peachy D, make it Louis Wa. So 1 is Poor Intentions, a chimpanzee filly for Gino Toscani. Trains and drives, owns, and he took this one home from Lexington for $16,000 US. 2 is Buffy Strikes, an alarm detector filly. Bill Megan's trained Scott Coulter will drive. 3, Queen of Bees, King of the North filly. Matt Bax trains and drives. And this was a Harrisburg purchase for $100,000 US. 4, Song from Heaven, Green Manalishi filly for Blake McIntosh. Driver is Doug McNair. Song from Heaven, Harrisburg purchase, $30,000 US. 5, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Muscle Mass filly for Ken Middleton. Jody Jameson will drive. This one did go through the London Classic for $18,000. 6, Queen G, King of the North filly. Determination owns. Luke Blay trains. Bob McClure will drive. A high-priced yearling. Harrisburg purchase, $300,000 US. 7, Lady Jag, a muscle mass filly. Susie Kerwood trains. James McDonald drives. Lady Jag was a $72,000 buy from the London Classic. 8 is Midwin Meme, Captain Corey filly. Kyle Boston's trains. Jonathan Drury drives. Lexington Select purchase for $25,000 US. And number 9, Peachy D, Green Manalishi filly for Kyle Fellows. Driver will be Louis Wa, and Peachy D was a Harrisburg purchase for $14,000 US. 2-year-old trotting fillies here in this fourth qualifier, a field of 9. All of them up on the gate, and here we go. And they're off and trotting. A break in the center. The 5, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go off stride. And we'll see how everybody else will get away, as it was a pretty even beginning. Going forward with Song from Heaven. Between horses, Queen of Bees. Then at the inside is Poor Intentions. At the rail is Buffy Strikes. Coming behind that one will be Queen G. Following into that path is Peachy D. Then that one will be tracked into the turn by Lady Jag. Sticking to that one's helmet is Midwin Meme. And the last one was the breaker, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Opening quarter time was 30-1. Into the backside will move Song from Heaven. She is the leader. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi. She fronts them by 3. Second is Queen of Bees. And then we are going back to Poor Intentions. But with that one lagging a bit, that's going to get some movers here, including Queen G, who is 3 wide up the backside trying to advance. Trotting along is Buffy Strikes. So Poor Intentions is back a few spots. We go to Peachy D, who is going to be followed by Lady Jag. Couple lengths to Midwin Meme. And the trailer, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. The half was 59-3. It's Song from Heaven taking us into the far turn. Second time out for this youngster for trainer Blake McIntosh. Queen of Bees is edged in a little bit closer, is in second. Also into the mix now is Queen G, their third, followed by Buffy Strikes in fourth. Then it's about 6 lengths back to Poor Intentions. Peachy D probably going to move here in a moment, followed by Lady Jag, and then going to Midwin Meme. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, the trailer. 3/4 time, 130 flat. We're into the stretch now. The 2-year-old trotting fillies are pointing for home, and it is Song from Heaven with the advantage. Leads it by 2. Queen of Bees is there in second. Going back to Queen G in third. Buffy Strikes is fourth. There's Peachy D now advancing, followed by Lady Jag. 1/16 of a mile remaining, and Song from Heaven is looking good here. A Song from Heaven trotting nicely down to the line to take this one by 3. Queen of Bees in the debut finishes in second. Their third is going to be Queen G, and it was tight for fourth. It was Lady Jag on the outside with Buffy Strikes and Peachy D in between rivals. Mile time of 1:58.4. So qualifier number 4 goes to the 4, Song from Heaven. Daughter of Green Manalishi. She was a $30,000 US buy out of Harrisburg. She's out of the Chapter 7 mare, Chapter Heaven. In her first qualifier a week ago, she was a winner in 2 minutes and 2/5. Here today, new mark, 58-4, as she's going to take our 4th qualifier for trainer Blake McIntosh, Doug McNair in the bike. Here we go now for the fifth qualifier, or at least getting close to going here. They'll regroup. Here we go now with the fifth qualifier. Once again, one is Jackie's Delight. Again, there are no changes here in this fifth. A field of 9 2-year-old pacing fillies, and as mentioned, Jackie's Delight kicks things off. For trainer Blake McIntosh, Tyler Borth in the bike. This one went through the Lexington Select sale for $12,000 US. 2, Diamond's Best Friend, Bulldog Hanover filly for Jack Darling, Jody Jameson. This youngster, a Lexington Select buy for $107,000 US. 3, Fit and Fierce, a Bettor's Delight filly for John Pentland, Bob McClure. This one went through the Lexington sale for $47,000 US. 4 is Lions Carry Montana, a Sweet Lou filly for Kenneth Oliver, Scott Coulter in the bike, homebred for 3 Lions Racing. 5 is Dundee's Victory, Cattle Wash filly for Kyle Fellows, Phil Houdon will drive. A Harrisburg purchase for $35,000 US. 6 is Charge and Patronus, a Sportswriter filly for Gabby Sasso, J.R. Plant in the sulky. 7, Ace and a 10, Cattle Wash filly, Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair will drive. Ace and a 10 was a London Classic buy for $70,000. 8, a Secret Treasure, Sweet Lou filly, Meg Crone trains, Anthony Hahn does the driving. And this was a Lexington Select buy for $23,000 US. And on the outside, 9, Twin Bee Girl Talk, Cattle Wash filly, Tony Beaton trains, James McDonald drives. $60,000 buy from the London Classic. Your field of 9 for the fifth 2-year-old pacing fillies. Gate picks up speed for the fifth. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. Ace and a 10 is going to fire the first blow from the outside, pointed to the top. Rail starter Jackie's Delight gets away second for the time being, as Dundee's Victory will look to shoot on through up into second. Getting to the rail, Lions Carry Montana in front of Diamond's Best Friend. Then we're going to go back to Twin Bee Girl Talk, followed by Charge and Patronus. Then the next one is Fit and Fierce, and your early trailer is a Secret Treasure. As they go to the opening quarter, and it is Ace and a 10 by 3. Opening panel here, 29 and 2. Ace and a 10. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash. This is her second time out, and once again, she is out on the lead. She was a gate-to-wire winner in her debut. Second is Dundee's Victory. It looks to close the gap here with 3/8 of the mile in the books. Jackie's Delight is tracking along nicely there in third. A little bit of a gap to Lions Carry Montana in fourth, who's followed by Diamond's Best Friend then in fifth. 6 up the backside, Twin Bee Girl Talk, followed by Charge and Patronus. A couple more lengths back to Fit and Fierce, and a Secret Treasure is the trailer, as we are by the half in 59 seconds even. So just a little bit slower in that second panel, 29 and 2, followed by 29 and 3. Onto the far bend here, and Ace and a 10 starts to stretch the lead out. It's 4 lengths. Picking it up, though, is Dundee's Victory in second. Jackie's Delight is third. Lions Carry Montana still there in fourth. Diamond's Best Friend follows along for the time being. Twin Bee Girl Talk waiting for the cue. Then back to Charge and Patronus, and the final pair at the back as they come to 3/4, Fit and Fierce. And getting around that one is a Secret Treasure, 127 and 2. So taking it into the lane here, Ace and a 10. She opened up 6-7 lengths on them with that 28 and 2 third quarter, and she is all alone. Ace and a 10, well on her way to another qualifying score, as looking to come up the rail is going to be Lions Carry Montana trying to get into second. Here is Twin Bee Girl Talk on the outside as Dundee's Victory drops back to fourth. Diamond's Best Friend up the rail, but it was all Ace and a 10 to win it. Second, Twin Bee Girl Talk over Lions Carry Montana third, and then it was Diamond's Best Friend and Charge and Patronus, 156 and 2. 7 ace and a 10, back-to-back qualifying scores. 2 minutes and a fifth last week, and is going to shave nearly 4 seconds off that with a mile of 56 and 2. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash out of the He's Watching mare Dreamin' Girl. $70,000 buy of the London Classic. Greg McNair trains Doug McNair in the bike. Ace and a 10, victorious once again, as she is the second foal out of that He's Watching mare, Cattle Wash filly in 56 and 2. With 5 qualifiers complete, we'll now take a break. There'll also be a break following qualifier number 10. So a short break here before we continue with today's action. Resuming with today's qualifiers, this is qualifier number 6, 2-year-old trotting fillies. Fielded 9, 1 driver change 5. She's a man-eater. Mark McDonald will be at the controls. 1 Proud Marie, a muscle mass filly for Mark Etzel. Bob McClure drives. This was a Harrisburg purchase for $27,000 US. 2 Rebel Moon, muscle mass filly Carl Jameson, Jody Jameson in the bike. 3 Diamond of the North, King of the North filly. Kyle Fellows trains. Drivers Doug McNair, $70,000 buy from the London Classic. 4 Tit for Tat, King of the North filly for Paul Reed. Scott Young will steer. Tit for Tat was a yearling purchase out of Harrisburg for $20,000 US. On to the 5, She's a Man-Eater, a Walner filly for Blake McIntosh. Make the driver Mark McDonald. Lexington selected yearling sale purchase, $30,000 US. 6 Karma Queen, a muscle mass filly. Shannon Henry trains, Trevor Henry drives. $27,000 buy from the London Classic. 7 is Maggie T, a muscle mass filly. Katie McNeil, the trainer. Tyler Borth in the bike. 8 Perfect Loop, King of the North filly. Matt Bax trains, James McDonald drives. This was a Harrisburg purchase for $45,000 US. And on the outside, number 9, Roma Lee Armitage. Gino Toscani owns, trains, and drives. Walner filly was a yearling purchase from Lexington for $22,000 US. So well back. Off stride before the start was the 4 Tit for Tat. The others are off and trotting. So we begin qualifier number 6, and from the extreme outside, Roma Lee Armitage is going to try and cross over to the lead. Stepping forward is Rebel Moon, getting around the rail starter Proud Marie. Pushed forward was Perfect Loop, and that one will trot up into that 2-hole. Into the first turn, Roma Lee Armitage from Perfect Loop. Rebel Moon in third, followed fourth by Proud Marie. And then we're going to go back as they enter that first bend to Diamond of the North, who is going to be followed by She's a Man-Eater. On that one's back is Karma Queen. Couple lengths in to Maggie T. And well back, still off stride, Tit for Tat. 31-1 was the opening quarter. Post 9 starter Roma Lee Armitage went to the top. And how about this move here by Proud Marie? This one just takes off here in the second quarter. And she has gone right out to now a 6-length lead. Muscle mass filly Proud Marie storming up the backside. Roma Lee Armitage in second. Here moving and off stride goes the 3 Diamond of the North. We also had another breaker as She's a Man-Eater went off stride in that second quarter as the half is up in 101 flat. Your leader here is Proud Marie for Bob McClure. Second is Roma Lee Armitage. Perfect Loop content just to continue following along in third. Rebel Moon is fourth. Then Karma Queen is back in fifth to Maggie T. And then back to our breakers as that's Diamond of the North, Tit for Tat, and She's a Man-Eater coming to 3/4. And it's still Proud Marie. And the lead starts to shrink a little bit as Roma Lee Armitage is now back within 2.5 lengths. And Perfect Loop looks poised for a good stretch drive. Also to the outside already is Rebel Moon, 131-2 for 3/4. Trotting fillies now swing into the lane, and they're going to be 4 across here. Up the inside comes Perfect Loop. Proud Marie. Outside Rebel Moon, and here's Rebel Moon, and she takes the lead. Rebel Moon sprinting on home. In second is Perfect Loop. Then up the rail, Karma Queen into third. From Roma Lee Armitage and back to Proud Marie, it is Rebel Moon, the muscle mass filly, another good-looking qualifier. She wins it by 2. Perfect Loop was second, Karma Queen was third, and fourth was Roma Lee Armitage. 2:01-2 for Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon, a daughter of Muscle Mass out of the father Patrick Mayer Kiss and Angel. Debut qualifier. She kicked home at 27-2, rallying to finish second, beat just half a length. And there is another good final quarter as she is the first filly, or I should say the first foal out of that father Patrick Mayer Kiss and Angel. This Muscle Mass filly wins it in 2:01-2. Seventh qualifier, lining up. It's going to be a field of 9. One driver change, one Susie's Beauty to Jonathan Drury. One Susie's Beauty, and always be Mickey Philly. Homebred for Jim Averett. Greg McNair trains. Jonathan Drury drives. 2 Cattle Bell, a Cattle Wash filly. Carl Jameson trains. Jody Jameson in the bike. 3 Lions Passion, Cattle Wash filly. Kenneth Oliver trains. Scott Coulter in the bike. $18,000 London Classic purchase. 4 is Clear Choice, a Courtly Choice filly. Tyler Borth for Blake McIntosh. This one came out of the Goshen yearling sale for $17,000 US. 5 Following C, a Down by the Seaside filly for Dr. Ian Moore, the driver Louis Waugh. A Harrisburg purchase, $25,000 US. Mauritius is the 6, a Captain Treacherous filly. Kyle Fellows trains. Doug McNair will steer. 7 is Sly Georgia, a Bulldog Hanover filly for Scott McEnany and Trevor Henry. A Homebred for Brad Grant. 8 is Queen Pharaoh, a Century Pharaoh filly. Tony Beaton trains. Mark McDonald in the bike. And number 9, Love My Frenchie, a Bulldog Hanover filly. Dave Maneri trains. James McDonald steers. A Harrisburg purchase for $30,000 US. Field of 9 in the hands of the starter for our 7th qualifier. Starting gate picks up speed. Here they come, 2-year-old pacing fillies. And they're off and pacing. Following C is going to follow the car out of there as that one is the first to go. Coming forward, Mauritius into second. On the outside is Clear Choice. Just to that one's left is Cattle Bell. And mid-pack from the rail will be Susie's Beauty. That one races in 5th. Dropped in behind is Lion's Passion. Getting in front of a couple is Queen Pharaoh. Back to Sly Georgia. And Love My Frenchie will race from the back. Out in front as we head to that opening panel is Following C for Waugh. And the Down by the Seaside filly fronts them by a length and a half as Mauritius gets right there in second. 30-4 was the opening quarter, and they'll move to the backside. A 2-length advantage here for Following C. Second time out, and right now she is up front. Going to need a little encouragement as she'll continue to march right along. So first time she's on the lead. 2-length advantage from Mauritius, tracked closely by Cattle Bell in 3rd, and then 4th up the backstretch is Clear Choice. Next 5th, you'll find Susie's Beauty as they start to tighten up here as they slow a little bit coming to the half. So Lion's Passion gets a bit closer. Following along is Queen Pharaoh. To the outside from the back moving is Sly Georgia, and Love My Frenchie will pick up that cover. 1 minute and 4/5 was the half. They race to the far bend. It is Following C still out in front. In second has been Mauritius, and moving out from 3rd, here comes Cattle Bell. So a final turn move, and Cattle Bell comes quickly now to confront Following C. Also advancing is Clear Choice. Up on the outside, Sly Georgia has advanced several spots after racing second from last. Inside is Susie's Beauty. Love My Frenchie. On the outside is Queen Pharaoh, and at the rail, the trailer is Lion's Passion. 1:30-4 the 3/4 time as Cattle Bell marched right up front. And as we are pacing on home, we'll see if Cattle Bell can turn them away. Clear Choice on the outside to the wheel, and Mauritius now escapes and is shown clear racetrack, and that one is pacing strong, so it's going to be Clear Choice the advantage. Here comes Mauritius on the outside. Clear Choice and Mauritius, these two driving well right to the wire. Clear Choice wins it by a head. Mauritius was second, Cattle Bell was third, and Sly Georgia was fourth in 1:59. So a debuter here this morning. Clear Choice is our winner in the 7th. She's a daughter of Courtly Choice out of the Better's Delight mare, Jenna's Delight. Goshen yearling sale purchase for $17,000 US for Glenn Dyke and Blake McIntosh. Again, this was her first time out, and she paces home strong to win it in a mile time of 1:59. Horses lining up for the 8th qualifier. Driver changed on 5, Trixie Lovelace to Damian McClellan. 1 is Soma, Muscle Mass filly. Clark Bealby trains Trevor Henry in the bike. London Classic buy for $52,000. 2, Doing It for the Money, a Ready for Money filly. Blake McIntosh trains while Tyler Borthel drive. 3, Bearded Lady. Matt Bax trains and drives. A homebred for their stable. A Green Manalishi filly. Samia is the 4, King of the North filly for Dan Legacy. James McDonald in the bike. Harrisburg purchase for $35,000 US. 5, Trixie Lovelace is a Trixton filly. Kyle Fellows trains. Damian McClellan will drive. This Trixton filly, $25,000 Lexington Select purchase. 6 is Market High, Green Shoe filly. Susie Kerwood trains. Mario Bayarjan drives. Harrisburg purchase for $10,000 US. 7 is Our Rosie, Muscle Mass filly. Homebred for Tom and Elizabeth Rankin. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair steers. 8 is Kinder Trouble, Muscle Mass filly. Guy Gagnon trains and drives. $42,000 London Classic purchase. And 9 is Bluegrass Babe, a Father Patrick filly for Shane Arsenault. Todd Ratchford in the bike. Lexington Select purchase, $22,000 US. Gate picks up speed. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. From the outside, Our Rosie gets into gear, and Bluegrass Babe will leave well, and that one might be going right to the lead. Looks like it. Bluegrass Babe from Our Rosie, who crosses over in front of Doing It for the Money. The rail starter there, Soma, follows into 4th. Off stride went the 3, Bearded Lady. On the outside, mid-pack, going to drop into a position is Samia. Should be able to get in front of Kinder Trouble. Then on the outside is Market High, taking back as we come to that opening panel, Trixie Lovelace. And then resetting was that early breaker, Bearded Lady. 31-4 opening quarter, and the trotting fillies will exit the first bend. The leader is Bluegrass Babe. Last week she just followed along in 4th. Here she was on the front. Short-lived lead, however, as Doing It for the Money makes a second quarter move to the top. Doing It for the Money, Ready for Money filly to the point here for Borth. Bluegrass Babe's in 2nd. Tracking right along is Our Rosie in 3rd. Couple lengths then going back to Soma in 4th. Gap of 3.5 lengths back to Market High, who's 5th. That one is in front of Samia. Couple more lengths to Kinder Trouble. And then our final pair, Trixie Lovelace and Bearded Lady. 102-4 was the half. And as the trotting fillies make their way around the far bend, your leader here is Doing It for the Money. Doing It for the Money. Second time out. Leads it by almost 3. Second is Bluegrass Babe. Still there, 3rd is Our Rosie. Picking it up a little bit is Soma in 4th. Then back to Market High, tracked by Samia. Coming off the rail is Kinder Trouble. And then back to Trixie Lovelace and Bearded Lady. 132-2 as your 3-quarter clocking. A 29-3 third panel for Doing It for the Money. And we mentioned it, Soma was getting into gear on the far bend, and that one's now trotted up into 2nd, trying to reel in the leader. The leader Doing It for the Money by 2.5. Soma into 2nd. Late move now from Our Rosie, who tries to battle by Bluegrass Babe. But it will be Doing It for the Money. Doing It for the Money by 2. Soma was 2nd. 3rd goes to Our Rosie. And 4th is Bluegrass Babe. Mile clocking of 2:01-3. Doing It for the Money. Victorious, 2nd time out. Was a rallying 2nd in her debut qualifier. She is a Ready for Money filly out of the Dewey Cheatham and Howe mare, Rockin' with Dewey. That successful mare here locally who made close to $600,000. Owned by Clancy Farms. Trainer is Blake McIntosh. Tyler Borth was in the bike. As Doing It for the Money wins in 2:01-3. Gate rolling for our 9th qualifier. Scratch number 6, Silver Moon. Field of 8 2-year-old pacing fillies. 1 Sting Away, a perfect Sting filly. Mark McDonald driving for trainer Tony Beaton. Lexington select by 12,000 US. 2 Tenacious, a Bulldog Hanover filly. Doc Moore trains, Bob McClure drives. 125,000 US purchase out of Harrisburg. 3 Celia Shadow, Cattle Wash filly. For Tyler Moore, James McDonald in the bike. 4 Gypsy Nancy, a Better Than Cheddar filly. Dustin Jones trains, Tyler Jones will drive. 5 is Sassy 60, a Better's Delight filly for Blake McIntosh. Tyler Borth drives. This one came out of Harrisburg for 32,000 US. 6 is Scratched. 7, The Legacy of Venus, a Stay Hungry filly. Scott McEnany trains. Trevor Henry drives, a homebred for Brad Grant. 8 Canadian Blondes, a Better's Delight filly. It's Louis Wofford trainer Dave Maneri. This was a Lexington purchase for 115,000 US. And 9 is Midnight Matrimony, a Cattle Wash filly. Trained by Greg McNair, Doug McNair in the bike. London Classic by 27,000. Field of 8 for the 9th. 2-year-old pacing fillies. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. Down the center is Sassy 60, and outside Midnight Matrimony is starting to sprint forward. Canadian Blondes into the forward mix, and Tenacious is holding ground to the inside 4th. Up on the outside is a Legacy of Venus, Celia Shadow, then back to Sting Away, and the last one will be Gypsy Nancy. So a little bit of a scramble here in the first turn as Midnight Matrimony crosses on over to the lead. To get away in second is going to be Sassy 60, who flashed some speed down the center, and then Tenacious ended up 3rd, and settling in 4th, Canadian Blondes. 30 and 2 was the opening panel, and we watch as Midnight Matrimony leads it by 2.5 lengths. So a change of tactics after tracking not far off the lead last time out. She is doing the road work, leading it by 3. Second is Sassy 60, 2 lengths back to Tenacious 3rd. 4th is Canadian Blondes in the debut, followed by the Legacy of Venus in 5th. Right on that one's back is Celia Shadow, then to Sting Away, and the trailer is Gypsy Nancy. No change here up the backside as they near the midway point. The half-mile time, 1:01 flat. Midnight Matrimony leads it for McNair. Still there, second is Sassy 60. 2.5 lengths then going back to Tenacious in 3rd as the front 2 start to pick it up a bit. Racing 4th is Canadian Blondes. Behind that one, the Legacy of Venus bides time, looks ready to go. Then back to Celia Shadow, followed by Sting Away, and the trailer still Gypsy Nancy. They're approaching 3/4. A 2-length advantage for Midnight Matrimony on Sassy 60. On the outside is Tenacious now. Canadian Blondes hugs the rail, then going back to the Legacy of Venus, 131 and 1 for 3/4. And as we're into the lane, Midnight Matrimony has the jump on them. Back in second is Sassy 60. Canadian Blondes at the inside. We'll see if that one will eat up some ground with some clear racetrack. In the center is the Legacy of Venus, far outside Tenacious, and looking to split on through between rivals. A good late kick from Celia Shadow. Midnight Matrimony. Celia Shadow coming up the inside. Legacy of Venus. Midnight Matrimony goes all the way. Tight for second. Might have been the Legacy of Venus over Celia Shadow, and then we go to Tenacious. 2 minutes flat for Midnight Matrimony. Midnight Matrimony, the winner in our 9th qualifier, a Cattle Wash filly out of the American Ideal mare Quantum Blue Chip. Second qualifier, first time out, kicked home 27 and 1 to finish second, timed in 58 and 3. Here going to be a winner in 2 minutes flat for owner Will Fleming, trainer Greg McNair, Doug McNair in the bike. Gate to wire winner, Midnight Matrimony in the 9th. Gate rolling for our 10th qualifier. We're on the trot. One is Walner's Echo. Walner filly. Kyle Boston's trains. Jonathan Drury drives. First time out for the Walner filly, who was a $37,000 US buy out of Lexington. 2, Stonebridge Bell. Tyler Borth for Katie McNeil. Trixton filly. $25,000 buy from the London Classic. 3, Graceland, a My MVP filly. Trainer Michael Armstrong, James McDonald drives. 4, Houston, we have a problem. Muscle Mass filly, Mark Etzel trains. The driver is Tyler Jones. This was a $25,000 buy from the London Classic. Panache Princess is the 5, King of the North filly. Roger Mayotte trains and drives. $120,000 buy from the London Classic. 6 is Fleetwood Dancer, Green Manalishi filly. Greg McNair trains Doug McNair in the bike. Lexington purchase for $40,000 US. 7, Virilli, Muscle Mass filly. Meg Crone trains Louis Waugh drives. $85,000 London Classic buy. And 8, Fast Lady, a Muscle Mass filly. Matt Bax trains and drives. Here they come for the 10th. They're off and trotting here in qualifier 10. We're going to see Houston, we have a problem stepping forward. Fast Lady from the outside, and between horses is Fleetwood Dancer. Verily will follow up into 4th. At the inside will be Graceland 5th. Then going back to Stonebridge Bell, flanked by Panache Princess. And the last one off stride is Walner's Echo. Into the first bend they go, and it's Fast Lady fronting them. Fast Lady by 2. Second is Houston, we have a problem. And then 2 more lengths back to Fleetwood Dancer in 3rd for an opening quarter clocking of 31 seconds flat. Trotting fillies move to the backside here in the 10th. Your leader continuing to be Fast Lady. Second, you'll find Houston, we have a problem. Fleetwood Dancer is in 3rd. 4th is Verily. Then we're going back to Graceland, and Graceland's gone off stride up the backstretch here. So advancing a position will be Stonebridge Bell. So too will Panache Princess. And well back to the other breaker, Walner's Echo. To the midway point they go. Your leader here is Fast Lady by a length and a half. From Houston, we have a problem, who gets a nice 2-hole toe. And up front here, kind of slowing right up, was Fast Lady, and that gets them into a bit of a jam. So Matt Bax urges her along to pick it back up. 1:03 and 1 was the half-mile time. So on the front in the debut qualifier is Fast Lady. Learning experience for her here, and she has certainly picked it back up. She takes the lead out to 2. Houston, we have a problem in 2nd. Fleetwood Dancer in 3rd. Verily is still there 4th. Back to Stonebridge Bell 5th. 2 more lengths back to Panache Princess. And then well back to our breakers, Walner's Echo. And the trailer last is Graceland. 3/4 time was 1:34 and 4. They get into the lane, and it's been Fast Lady fronting them. 2-hole trip for Houston, they have a problem, but already attacking out from 3rd was Fleetwood Dancer, and Fleetwood Dancer strides right up to the lead. So Fleetwood Dancer strikes the front. Now off the rail, Houston, we have a problem. We'll get by Fast Lady, and back in 4th is Verily, but here's your winner in qualifier 10, Fleetwood Dancer. From Houston, we have a problem. Fast Lady 3rd, 4th was Verily, and 5th was Panache Princess. 2:04 and 1. Well, Team McNair gets another qualifying score today. Green Manalishi filly, Fleetwood Dancer, victorious in 2:04 and 1. This was her second qualifier. Last time she just raced mid-pack, moved by a rival late, trotted in 2:03 and 3. Today sat 3rd and goes by a couple in the lane to win this one in 2:04 and 1. Greg McNair, Jeff Thompson, Willow Oak Racing share ownership. $40,000 buy from the Lexington Select Sale. Green Manalishi filly out of the Cantab Hallmare Cloud Dancer, victorious here in the 10th. Starting gate is rolling. We continue with today's qualifiers. We resume. This is the 11th 2-year-old pacing fillies. 1, You Are My Shadow, Shadow Play filly. Dr. Ian Moore trains. The driver is Mark McDonald. 2, Revenge Dress, a Bulldog Hanover filly. Greg McNair, the trainer. In the bike is Doug McNair. This was a $30,000 London Classic purchase. You can make the driver on this one Jonathan Drury. 3, Boardwalk Babe. Trevor Henry will steer for Matt Dupuis. Sweet Lou filly. Harrisburg purchase $25,000 US. 4 is Queued Up, a cattle wash filly. Trainers Kyle Fellows. Driver will be Doug McNair. Queued Up. Lexington Select purchase for $22,000 US. 5 is Pistol Packing Patty, a cattle wash filly for Blake McIntosh. Tyler Borth will drive. She went through the Lexington sale for $35,000 US. 6 is Santorini Sealster, a Bulldog Hanover filly. Austin McEnany trains and drives. London Classic purchase for $30,000. Number 7, My Bets on Bob. Louis Waugh for Jeff Williams. All bets off filly. Lexington Select purchase for $40,000 US. 8, Island Girl. Bulldog Hanover filly. Jack Darling trains. He's also the owner breeder. Jody Jameson in the bike. And on the outside, 9 is Hot Wash. Tony Beaton trains. James McDonald drives this. Daughter a cattle wash. A London Classic purchase for $40,000. A field of 9 lined up for our 11th qualifier. 4 to go on this Friday now afternoon. Starting gate to the top of the stretch. They're off and pacing. Looking towards the outside of the track, My Bets on Bob is trying to step ahead. Pistol Packing Patty, who went to the front in her debut qualifier, also once again with that early speed. You Are My Shadow is away well at the inside, and now driving on through is going to be Queued Up. Right behind that one is Island Girl. Down to the inside, Revenge Dress. Then we are going back to Hot Wash. She was able to get in front of a couple as that one lands in front of Santorini Sealster, and the trailer as they come to that opening quarter is Boardwalk Babe. A 30-1 opening split, and up front here we still have to sort things out. On the outside, trying to press on to get the lead is Queued Up, and meanwhile, right there rolling right along was My Bets on Bob. So Queued Up will clear. My Bets on Bob gives way and will sit behind there in second. 2 lengths back to Pistol Packing Patty, who will follow along in third. Another 2.5 lengths back to You Are My Shadow in fourth, followed by Island Girl fifth. 2 more lengths to Revenge Dress, who is in front of Hot Wash, then going back to Santorini Sealster, and rounding things out is Boardwalk Babe. A 59-4 half-mile time sees them go 29-3 in the second quarter. Your leader into the far bend is Queued Up, and right on the helmet there second, that is My Bets on Bob. And these two, once again, continue to show the way. Pistol Packing Patty riding in third this time out. You Are My Shadow is fourth, and from the back, here goes Boardwalk Babe. From last all the way up to fourth. Let's go off the rail now to Island Girl, who gets the cue to go from Jameson. Then back to Revenge Dress. Outside is Santorini Sealster, and Hot Wash rounds things out. 129-2. So again, it was a 29-3 split. And into the lane, your leader here is Queued Up. It's Queued Up by a pair. My Bets on Bob trying to re-rally. Then on the outside, Boardwalk Babe now down to the rail in third. In behind that one is Pistol Packing Patty, and outside is Island Girl. Edge of the tote board. Queued Up almost home. A late push for My Bets on Bob. Queued Up will win. My Bets on Bob was second. Boardwalk Babe with the big move ended up third, and fourth was Island Girl in a mile time of 1:58. Queued Up takes our 11th qualifier, a cattle wash filly. For owners Yolanda Fellows, Blair Corbeil, Windermere Stable, and James Ross. Kyle Fellows, the trainer. Doug McNair in the bike once again. Second qualifier for this daughter of cattle wash out of the If I Can Dream mare, Miss Queued. And first time out, kicked home 27-3, sat second throughout, ended up finishing second here today. Works a little bit to get the lead coming out of that first turn, ultimately does clear to command and goes on to the 1:58 score. This is the 12th qualifier next. There are no changes. A field of 8 2-year-old trotting fillies. Number 1, Whoop-De-Doo Hanover is a 6-pack filly for trainer Blake McIntosh and the driver Tyler Borth. 2, Time All Rockstar Green Shoe filly. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair will drive. Time All Rockstar went through the London Classic for $14,000. 3 is Dromoland Castle. Muscle Mass filly. Mark Etzel trains and drives. Harrisburg purchase for $130,000 US. 4 is Shy Regime, a green Manalishi filly. Shane Arsenault trains. Scott Young in the bike. London Classic grad $37,000. 5, Just Win Baby, a Walner filly. Matt Bax trains. James McDonald drives. A homebred for Al Libfeld. 6 is Canadian Queen, a King of the North filly. Paul Cameron trains. Mark McDonald drives. London Classic purchase for $30,000. 7 is Majestic Eva, King of the North filly. Dustin Jones trains. Tyler Jones in the bike. London Classic purchase for $49,000. And number 8 is Treasure King, King of the North filly. Carl Jamieson trains. The driver is Jody Jamieson. Harrisburg purchase $42,000 US. Gate picks up speed. Trotting fillies for the 12th. Here they come. They're off and trotting. Good beginning at the rail for Whoop-De-Doo Hanover. Here's your speed on the outside, courtesy of Treasure King. And Canadian Queen also goes right into that mix. Should be able to slot in front of Time All Rockstar. And then settling in will be Just Win Baby mid-pack. 2 lengths back, Dromoland Castle, who will be followed by Majestic Eva. And rounding things out is Shy Regime. As we're into the first bend, and Tyler Borth has Whoop-De-Doo Hanover showing the way. Was a gate-to-wire winner first time out. Second qualifier. Went the first week of baby races back on June 4th. 30-4 opening quarter, but might not have the lead much longer. Here on the outside, pressing on was Canadian Queen, and Whoop-De-Doo Hanover goes right alongside. So they are stride for stride up the backstretch here. So being pushed is Canadian Queen to try and clear on Whoop-De-Doo Hanover. Sticking with the top pair there in third is Treasure King, gap of 4 lengths or so. Going back to Time All Rockstar, another gap to Just Win Baby, who is going to be followed by Dromoland Castle. Another few lengths then, going back to Majestic Eva, and your trailer is Shy Regime. 59-3 was the half. That was 28-4 in the second quarter. And here's the retake coming from Whoop-De-Doo Hanover, right back around on Canadian Queen. And then closing in is Treasure King, and that one will come off the rail now for Jameson. Racing in fourth is Time All Rockstar. Off stride in fifth went Just Win Baby. So advancing up a spot will be Dromoland Castle, who is going to be followed by Majestic Eva and Shy Regime as they're by 3/4 in a time of 1:28.4. And on the outside is Treasure King. So Treasure King confronts Whoop-De-Doo Hanover. It's been an eventful mile so far for Whoop-De-Doo Hanover, the 6-pack filly, trying to fend off Treasure King. The King of the North filly pokes ahead in front. Behind them is Canadian Queen in third, so they continue to battle with the 16th to go. Treasure King on the outside had the short advantage. Battling back, though, is Whoop-De-Doo Hanover, and Whoop-De-Doo Hanover comes back to win it. So Whoop-De-Doo Hanover, a good experience here today for that one. An eventful one will win it. Second was Treasure King. Third was Canadian Queen, and Dromoland Castle was fourth in 1:58.4. So once again, a winner is Whoop-De-Doo Hanover. She won her first qualifier on June 4th in 2:02.2. Today, a 58.4 mile. And with multiple moves in this one, goes on to the victory and looked like it appeared Treasure King took a short advantage, and this one comes back. The 6-pack filly gets the job done for Glenn Dyke, Blake McIntosh, Jean-Marie Bedard, and Ozzie McKay. McIntosh, the trainer. Tyler Borth in the bike. A 6-pack filly out of the Donato Hanover mare. Woo-hoo Hanover. 13th qualifier, lining up. 1, Bombshell Sealster, Stay Hungry Filly, Scott McEnany trains, Trevor Henry will steer. Harrisburg Purchase for $10,000 US. 2 is PA Lila, Cattle Wash Filly, Carl Jameson the trainer, Jody Jameson in the bike, $65,000 US out of Harrisburg. 3 is Side Dish, Cattle Wash Filly for Blake McIntosh, Tyler Borth the driver, Lexington Select, $25,000 US. 4 Jamona, Big Jim Filly, Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair will drive, $20,000 yearling from the London Classic. 5 Renee, Cattle Wash Filly, Greg McNair trains. Jonathan Drury will now drive. This one out of Harrisburg for $27,000 US. 6 Effective Control, Control the Moment Filly, Dustin Jones the trainer, Tyler Jones in the bike. 7 is Money Carlo, a Bulldog Hanover Filly, Bob McClure for trainer Dr. Ian Moore. This was a Lexington Select purchase for $175,000 US. 8 is Charolais Cattle, Cattle Wash Filly, Dave Maneri trains, James McDonald drives. Yearling purchase out of Lexington for $40,000 US. And 9 is London Dry, a Bulldog Hanover Filly, Tony Beaton trains, Mark McDonald drives. Harrisburg purchase for $22,000 US. Starting gate picking up speed, a field of 9 2-year-old pacing fillies for the 13th. They're off and pacing. Putting in a couple bad steps there at the start was Side Dish. Borth will keep that one together. Here goes Money Carlo pointed to the top, and Money Carlo shoots to the lead. Inside, PA Lila will get away in second as Side Dish recovers to sit there in third. Driving up is going to be Renee into fourth, to be followed into the bend by Charolais Cattle. That one gets in front of Effective Control. Then we go back to Jamona, who will be followed by London Dry, and your trailer is Bombshell Sealster. 28-2, a revved up opening quarter. That's our fastest opening quarter to this point, and it is Money Carlo. Second time out for this Bulldog Hanover filly, and she is ready to roll. She's a 4-length leader up the backside. Second is PA Lila, then in third is Side Dish. Fourth, that's where we're going to find Renee, who is being followed up the backstretch by Charolais Cattle. On that one's back is going to be, as they approach the midway point, for Jones, that's Effective Control. Wide up to the half is Jamona. Back down to the rail, London Dry, your trailer. Bombshell Sealster in her debut. 57-2 was the half. 29 seconds in the second quarter. And Money Carlo, second time out. She was a winner in her debut. And here today, she is just going to do the work up front. Still leading it by 4. PA Lila in second. Side Dish is third. Fourth, that is Renee. Followed by Charolais Cattle. Followed then by Effective Control, going back to London Dry. Again, wide is Jamona, and the last one, Bombshell Sealster, 126-2 to 3/4. Middle half in 58 on the button, and it is Money Carlo by 5. And Money Carlo will look to finish it off just the way she started it, sprinting down the lane. Money Carlo takes the lead out to double digits. PA Lila is back in second. Charolais Cattle now moving up into third in a battle as that between horses is Renee and Side Dish, but up front, this was all Money Carlo. Money Carlo, an eye-catching effort. Second goes to PA Lila. Charolais Cattle was third, and on the outside, Effective Control was up for fourth. A mile clocking of 154-2 for the Bulldog Hanover filly, Money Carlo. Money Carlo for trainer Dr. Ian Moore. Bob McClure on the bike for owner Brad Grant. A winner today. Back-to-back qualifying scores, 58-2. Her debut last week. This week, mile time 54-2, out to the front and goes all the way. 28-2, 57-2, 126-2, 28 on the end of it for that mile of 154-2. She was a $175,000 U.S. purchase out of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. Daughter of Bulldog Hanover out of the Some Beach Somewhere mare. She's some treasure. And she wins impressively here today. Second dam, the outstanding broodmare Worldly Treasure. So her first dam, a full sister to Captain Treacherous, as the Bulldog Hanover filly Money Carlo wins it in 154-2. Final qualifier of the day is lining up. We wrap things up on the trot. Jonathan Drury will drive 1, Izzy's Legacy. It's the lone change here. Field of 8, 1, Izzy's Legacy. Back of the neck filly, Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair will drive, or was listed to drive. Jonathan Drury will drive, as Doug will handle the 5, Turn the Chapter. 2, Snitches Get Stitches, Alarm Detector filly. Michael Armstrong trains. James McDonald drives. $9,000 London Classic purchase. 3 is Northern Sonnet. Muscle Mass filly, Matt Bax trains and drives. A $40,000 London Classic purchase. 4, Major Contender, King of the North filly. Carl Jameson, the trainer. Jody Jameson in the bike. Harrisburg purchase for $110,000 US. 5, Turn the Chapter, a Chapter 7 filly for trainer Blake McIntosh. As mentioned, Doug McNair steers. $80,000 yearling purchase out of the Lexington selected sale. 6, Flawless Lady, King of the North filly. Paul McDonnell trains and drives. This was a Lexington select buy for $30,000 US. 7, Selectively Sweet, Green Manalishi filly. Jason Libby trains. Tyler Borth in the sulky. $60,000 US out of Harrisburg. And number 8, Cold Breeze, King of the North filly. Mark Etzel trains and drives. And Cold Breeze, Harrisburg purchase for $33,000 US. Final qualifier today. Again, we're back at it tomorrow with more 2-year-old qualifiers. It'll be the Colts and Geldings on display. 13 qualifiers total. 9:30 a.m. is the start time. And again, live racing continues here this evening, coming up at 6:30. 14th and final qualifier. They're off and trotting. It's going to be a well-timed beginning here for Major Contender. There on the outside, Selectively Sweet. Going into the mix for Tyler Borth. From the center is Turn the Chapter, and roaring on up is Cold Breeze. As we watch them go to the first bend, Northern Sonnet got away in 5th. To the rail, Flawless Lady settles in. Back to Izzy's Legacy, who is side by side with Snitches Get Stitches, as that one will yield to the back. Your leader is Selectively Sweet up to the opening quarter. Second is Major Contender, and a 3-hole is there to settle in for Cold Breeze. 30-4, that opening panel. Trotter straighten into the backstretch, Selectively Sweet. Second time out. Length and a half advantage on Major Contender, also the second qualifier for that youngster. Then in third, a debuting King of the North filly and Cold Breeze. 2 more lengths back to Turn the Chapter, who is qualifying for a second time. Northern Sonnet is then racing in 5th. This is her debut. Also debuting is Flawless Lady. 2 lengths back to Izzy's Legacy, who's a returnee, and then 2 more lengths back to the debuting Snitches Get Stitches. The half-mile recorded in 1:01 flat. And as we make our way into the far bend, a length and a half advantage here for Selectively Sweet, right in behind. Closely following, Major Contender, tracking right along, getting that 2-hole ride. 2 lengths back to Cold Breeze in third. Fourth continues to be Turn the Chapter, who looks poised to go and could be able to follow Cold Breeze, who's out from third. And here comes Cold Breeze. We go back to Northern Sonnet in 5th, followed by Flawless Lady on the outside. That is going to be Izzy's Legacy, and at the inside is Snitches Get Stitches. 131 3 3/4, and the trotting fillies spin for home. Selectively Sweet's called each shot. She's now having to contend with Cold Breeze on the outside, who's almost up on even terms. Major Contender's been following the leader and sticks glued to the helmet, and on the outside comes Turn the Chapter. Up the rail now, a late move from Major Contender. So Selectively Sweet, Cold Breeze, Major Contender up the pylons, and on the outside is Turn the Chapter. Major Contender takes it by half a head. Selectively Sweet was second, tight for third with Cold Breeze and Turn the Chapter. 2 minutes and 2/5, 4 across in the finale. Well, that's going to wrap up the qualifying action, as it is the 4 Major Contender. We mentioned that one was just following right on the leader's helmet throughout. Stayed on that back until really deep stretch before shooting up the rail for Jody Jameson to win it. Major Contender, daughter of King of the North, out of the Muscle Mass mare, Major Muscle. Second qualifier for her. First time out, she was third, beat just 2 lengths, timed in 2:02 and 4. Here today, she'll pick up a mark of 2 minutes and 2/5. She was a 6-figure yearling, $110,000 US out of Harrisburg. For Carl Jameson, a Number Ontario Limited, Dave Lemon and George Harrison. And she wins today, up the rail, and takes it here to wrap up today's action. Again, we're back at it tomorrow. Qualifiers will resume 9:30 a.m. 13 races for 2-year-old Colts and Geldings. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. We're back at it tonight. Live racing once again. First race post time 6:30.